Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Moving to Florida show. I am your host, Judd Sun, along with Mo Hit.
What's up, Judson?
I just make Mo laugh on every intro here.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a little space to put some extra information next to your name in our recording software, and Mo always adds something. So if you hear me throw out a joke or nickname about Mo, that's usually what it is. But we both have the second half of our name in there this week.
Yep, so, and it was a coincidence that it happened.
Yeah, indeed. Mo, how are you?
Good, man. How you been?
Doing good. Just it's starting to get warm out there.
It is warm and wet at the same time.
Warm and wet, and that is exactly what we were talking about today, ladies and gentlemen. Wanted to come with you with some tips on preparing for the hot Florida summers, but our hot Florida summers also mean hurricane season has officially begun. So, want to talk to you about what to do to prep for that, especially if you're going to be moving here over the next few months. Something to be aware of that a hurricane is always possible. We do usually get plenty of warning before they're here. But there's still certain things you want to do to prepare your household for it. So figure we talk to you a little bit about that as well.
We were about to get hit by a tropical storm, but it just passed us by. I think Miami got hit by the tropical storm, and they were flooded in certain areas. Miami,
I saw a lot of videos of flooding in South Florida, in downtown Miami, flooding.
Yeah. So how to prepare for a flood? Get a kayak.
There you go. Hey, I'm ready. Mo, I think you may be a little more prepped than I am for this, though. You mentioned you had notes.
I have a little bit of notes.
Okay.
So I just put a list of what to do prior to the summer. Before, I would say around, May to get ready for June, July, August. Those are the three hottest months of the year.
Well, guys, if you're listening to this when we publish, you'll see you're already late because it is the beginning of June here as we were recording.
It is.
So we'll get this episode out to you this Friday, as we always post on Fridays. We've been really working to be consistent and get our episodes out on time every Friday morning. But Mo, how do you want to do this? Do we want to start with the summer tips and then transition into the hurricane, or is it just all really one thing? What do you say?
It's all really one thing because our summers bring rain, so we can put it together. But some of the things I was looking at preparing for the summer is obviously go out and get some lighter clothes. You live in Florida, you probably already have some. Get some lighter clothes, something you'll be comfortable in. I know a lot of realtors here go out in suits, a 3-piece suit in the middle of July, and I look at them and I'm like, man, you must be sweating inside of that. So we prepare by you.
If you're cool enough, man.
Yeah, exactly. You're cool enough. I understand that everyone likes to wear a certain type of attire that exemplifies themselves and looking professional. Obviously, I'm not saying wear shorts and a t-shirt and go show homes or anything like that. But something simple. A shirt, a button down. You can wear some like breathable pants or jeans even, but even then it's still really hot. Try to get some summer clothes here. It is hot in Florida. Keep your shoes.
It is warm here for sure. So guys, if you're moving from the Northeast or a colder climate, just go ahead and throw away most of your sweaters. You don't need a sweater when you move here. Maybe one. You might need one sweater.
Right.
You don't need all of the heavy jackets. Save a few for when you travel back home to visit friends or family. But other than that, you're going to need more room for cooler clothes in your closet, like Mo said.
Yeah. And another thing is the biggest thing we use down here is air conditioner. We use that probably out of 365 days. We use 364 days of air conditioner.
Very true.
Get your ACs, get the maintenance done on those ACs. Call a service person, get it professionally serviced, make sure your AC is ready to go for the summer because you're going to be dropping temperatures in your home. Yeah. And it'll be running constantly. Good. So get your AC maintenance done before the summer, and so you are prepared for it because getting an AC fixed in the summer is very, very expensive, or any time of the year. It's very expensive to get your air conditioner repaired, and it could be something very small, cost few $100, to something major, like you need a new conditioner, you need a new AC unit,
Yep.
and that could go anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 to get it all fixed and
Yep.
repaired or replaced.
Hey, I can share a few just home maintenance tips. Easy things you can do yourself if you don't want to pay a company to come out and do, the annual maintenance. A few things you can do yourself. Of course, change those filters. Especially
Yes.
during the summer, change it every month because you don't want it to get clogged because that's just going to make that air conditioner work harder. And believe me, June, July, August, they are working hard. So make
Yeah.
sure you change your filters out regularly. And then we do have, I found a lot of people that are not familiar with the type of air conditioners we have here if they're moving from a cooler climate, but they're basically, you have a condenser inside. That's what makes the air colder, and then a fan outside that moves it through. Or actually, I have that backwards. You have the condenser outside
Yeah.
that cools the air, that
Yep.
cools the coolant, and then fans
Right.
inside that blow it. But it produces water. I mean, that's a byproduct of it. Your AC does produce water on from that unit inside. It sweats basically, and you have a little drip. You have a little line that leads to the exterior of the home. If you don't clean that out from time to time, what happens is it ends up with growth, like a mold growth in it,
Yeah.
and it backs up. It gets stuffed up. And then there's a float valve in your air conditioner. And as long as that float valve is operating properly, it will shut that AC off so it's not cooling anymore. So it'll still blow, but it's not cooling anymore. Now, even worse than that, sometimes they don't shut off. They're still cooling, still producing water, and you end up with a leak inside your home. So a really easy maintenance tip. You should really do this at least every couple of months. I've heard various things to put through that drain line. There is an access point in it, and they'll tell you to pour either, hot water through it, vinegar. I've heard diluted bleach, something to keep that growth in there from happening because that's what ends up clogging it. If it does get clogged, they'll usually have to use like a shop vac, a wet vac to actually vacuum it out from the exterior. But just running something like some vinegar, our AC person told us 2 cups of warm water, 2 cups of vinegar, and then 2 more cups of warm water to rinse it out every few months should keep that from happening. So that's a really good maintenance thing that you want to make sure you do.
Exactly. Another thing you can do is you can go to like Home Depot or Lowe's or any hardware company out there and get these coil cleaners so you can clean out the coils in the outside condenser, right? That's a condenser that's outside.
Yes, the
So
exterior part's the condenser.
yeah, so you can clean out the coils. They just spray it down and just need a hose to hose it down and make sure the coils are all clean and whatnot. Check for the fan. Make sure the fan is working fine in the condenser as well. There's like a big fan up there on top. If that fan is not moving, your AC is not working. Basically. Another thing you want to do is not only just look at the AC, check your vents as well. Make sure there's a clear path in the vents as well. A lot of people get their vents cleaned out, so go ahead, get your vents cleaned out. There might be some clogging and whatnot. You can get that taken care of as well. Another thing you want to prepare for is rain. It's going to be raining every single day in the summer, almost every single day. I don't want to say every single day, but almost every single day. You can probably set your clock to it, and you can see those dark clouds coming through, rolling by. So around, I would say anywhere from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you'll get a little bit of rain, if not a lot of rain for a short burst, and it won't stay around all day. Maybe 1 or 2 days out of the whole summer, you'll see it stick around for the whole day, but for the most part, it's just for 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops.
Yep, absolutely. Something that I'm going to be looking into soon that I have not done yet is installing gutters on my new
Yes.
home. So if your home does not have gutters, it's something you may want to consider because that water running off right at the edge, as much as it rains here, it will cause erosion. So definitely
Yeah.
gutters are a beneficial thing to have.
Yeah, not only will it cause erosion, like Judson said, it will start putting mold around your windows. It'll start, chipping away at your paint. I mean, it is rain for them at the end of the day, so it'll start chipping away at your paint of your home. So it's very, very important to get gutters. And something that I did in my old community that really helped us out financially was we got everybody together and we called a few companies and say, hey, these 15 houses, they're the same model. What are you going to charge all of us? So, I mean, gather up your neighbors and say, hey, since we all in this new community together, what can we do to help each other out by doing something like that?
Yeah, that was a fantastic tip you gave before on the podcast, and I am in the process of putting that together in my own neighborhood right now.
There you go. And you're a brand new neighborhood. So yeah, it'll
Yep.
definitely help out. And we're doing that in our new neighborhood. People are already talking about that.
Yeah, and the builder here did not offer gutters. I've seen Pulte offer gutters in other communities, but they did not offer them here for whatever reason.
They, and for some reason, they've been offering it to more high priced homes I'm talking about like 700,000 plus homes, and they're just putting them on there. It's not even an option for them. So they're just
It's
putting
just
gutters on
included.
there.
Oh, that's
It's just
good. I mean,
included.
they should be included.
They should be included in all the homes here. I don't understand. I
Yeah.
mean, technically, a 22 to 2,400 square foot home, you're looking at anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 for just a regular old a gutter system. Now, if you want to get something fancier, obviously put a netting on top and all that stuff. Yeah, it could go up in price, but for the most part, it's not very, very expensive for something between 22 to 2,500 square foot. And my house was 2,200 square foot, and I paid about $1,100, but that was also 4 years ago. So with inflation,
Yeah, we've seen some inflation since then.
with inflation and prices of supplies going up, it might be on the higher end of that spectrum now, but yeah, it's going to save you a lot more money in the long run.
Yes, for sure. What other warm weather tips do you have, Mo?
I would say something like, if you have a patio, if you have a front porch or anything like that that you can go outside to and just want to hang out, you may want to consider getting it screened. The bugs come out in the
Solid tip.
summertime. I understand some of us like our bugs, and it's all natural and whatnot, but the bugs will come towards your home and build homes on your home. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
absolutely. Well, and also the mosquitoes. In a lot of homes, the in the evening, even though it is 100 degrees nearly sometimes here during the summer, a lot of times once it starts to get dark in the evening, it cools off and it feels pretty nice outside, and it's very nice to be able to sit outside and enjoy it. But if it's around dusk or it's gotten dark, especially if you have lights on, those mosquitoes are gonna find you.
They
So
will.
a screen enclosure is a very popular thing here in Florida. If it's say over a swimming pool, a lot of times they won't have a top on them. We refer to those as a bird cage a lot of times.
Yep.
Just total screen enclosure. If it's under the same roof as your home, we refer to that as a lanai. So you can get those screened in, or even an added on porch. A lot of homes where it didn't have that, people will add on a covered patio on the rear. And again, if you screen that in, it helps in two ways. It helps with the bugs, but also I actually had a neighbor that had a covered porch, no screen, and Hurricane Irma took that porch off. And
Yeah.
when they replaced it, they got a newer one with a screen enclosure, and the screen enclosure actually helps keep some of the wind out. So if you do have strong winds, it's a lot less likely to take damage.
True. Very true. Speaking of bugs as well, pest control, because the bugs will want to come
Yep.
into the house. It is blazing out even for them. They won't want to come inside. So yeah, get your pest control done. If you want to do it DIY, there's a lot of safe stuff out there at your hardware store, or you can always call one of the major companies that come out and do, or support the local businesses, because there's a lot of local bug control places around here. So support them, and yeah, you're gonna see a lot of bugs out there. I would say another thing is you're going to have bugs on your lawn and stuff too. So I mean, if they'll start eating away at your plants because it's so dry. So they'll eat that away. So whoever's doing your lawn, whether it's the HOA or whether it's you doing it, make sure you take care of your lawn at that time, because it will dry up. Even though it's raining here every day, it will dry up. Check your sprinkler system. Make sure all your sprinklers are working right. If you don't have a sprinkler system, I'm sure you're doing it through your water system that you have in your home. Your grass will get orange
Yeah, you do have to water here during the summer, even though we get those daily showers. Every once in a while, we'll go a 2 or 3 week stint where it won't really rain much. And man, if you're not watering your lawn, it will dry out and die for sure.
Yeah, so with the heat down here, yeah, it's not going to take long for it to die. It probably
Yep.
take a day, 2, maybe 3 days for it to start dying. And not only your grass, I mean, check your plants as well. You're going to have a palm tree on your on your lot anyways.
Every home comes
Get
with a
those.
palm tree in Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Get those trimmed up. You'll start seeing them, and it's natural for those branches to start dying and whatnot. So get those trimmed out. The best thing to
For
do is
sure.
when
Yeah,
you do.
palm trees. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mo. Palm trees do need to be trimmed, really at least 2 or 3 times a year. A lot of times you can do it yourself, or if they're too big, you can hire a company to come in and do it.
You're absolutely right, Justin. Yeah, get those trimmed up, and then another reason
And
to get them
and
trimmed
if you
is you
don't, I'm
don't.
sorry, Mo. If you don't, the hurricane will take them off and scatter them
Exactly, that's where
everywhere.
I was going with it. Yeah, man, that those hurricanes will come and they will, scratch up your windows if your windows are not boarded up. They'll come through those windows for sure.
Well, I mean, I guess on that topic with the hurricane prep, it's not just the palm trees, but other trees that you have. If you have any dead branches, if you have any big, branches, especially if they're hanging over the home, you might want to have a tree service look at those and trim them. Or again, if you're capable, consider doing that yourself. But that way you don't end up with a claim during hurricane season, because this can lead into another one. You want to check on your homeowner's insurance and make sure you're aware of what your hurricane deductible is, because the insurance companies here have special things written into the contracts where typically your hurricane deductible, which is damage caused by a named hurricane, is going to be more than your standard homeowner's insurance deductible.
Yep, absolutely. Going right into hurricanes, go to your grocery store. Stock up on a few canned goods if you want to. Water, batteries, first aid kits, radio, battery powered radio, flashlights, candles, things like that.
There's that list,
Because
Mo.
there's that list, and this list can go on and on and on. Generator. What else do you need? What else can you think of?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
yeah,
umbrella, even stuff like rain boots and all of that in case you have to get out, when there is a
right.
storm. Because that's the thing, a lot of times, we have a hurricane and maybe it's not that bad, but we still get days of rain, where it rains for days and days and days. And I mean, if it's not a super windy storm and it's just rain, a lot of times, everything's still open, but you got to get out in it if you want to go get
Right.
groceries or go get food or even go to work. So, having some nice rain boots or some clothes that can stand up to the weather and a nice umbrella is important too.
Yeah, yeah. Sandbags. If it's raining and it's heavy rain, yeah, that rain is going to seep into into your front door. It might seep into the garage door lining at the bottom. So yeah, go ahead, get some sandbags so
And yeah,
it doesn't come
I'd
in.
say sandbags is not necessarily one of those things you need to get like every year, but typically
No,
if there is a named storm, if it looks like your area is going to hit, the local governments will have a place where you can go and actually pick up sandbags. So that's kind of one of those things. Typically, if your hurricane is coming to your part of Florida, you know about it well in advance. Usually a week ahead of time, you're aware that it might happen. And then as you get closer to that date, as the storm approaches, they're more certain of where it's going to go. So you
right.
still have, heads up where you can prep, where maybe you're in an area that's more prone to storm damage. You might have hurricane shutters, or it might be suggested to look into getting hurricane shutters that you can put up over your windows. Though everything, I think it was 2005, everything after 2005 that was built does have hurricane impact windows. Depending on what your area is like, or if it's an older home, you might not have those windows on.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing to do, I mean, your vehicle, we need vehicles down here. You need cars down here. So, yeah, get your car serviced before the summer as well. If you're in time for that, AC filter in your car, you're gonna need AC in your car no matter what. So get that all taken care of. Make sure your AC in your cars are working. Don't leave any plastic around in your car because it will melt. uh, you know what? This is a funny story. One time I did that, and I don't know if you remember tape decks, tapes, cassette
Yeah.
tapes. They were around. I had a cassette. First time in Florida, I came in '90. I had a cassette tape on the dashboard. I came
And
back,
it
and it was
melted.
melted. It melted.
Wow. I have never seen that before.
it was berserk. I'm like, this never happens in Chicago.
All of our
So
20 something listeners are going, a tape? What's a tape? What's he talking about?
yeah, yep. Yeah. So I mean, like you said, if you're traveling, it's gonna be hot as heck out there. Make sure your car has your AC working.
AC, very important, yeah. And also, especially again, if you're in a coastal area, look at what your local evacuation routes are too. That's,
Right.
that's not something you want to be trying to hunt down as a storm's approaching. And again, you don't have to evacuate every storm. A lot of times that's more, most areas do not require evacuations, but sometimes that does happen, especially in South Florida where, they're mandatory evacuating people. And there's a lot of people in South Florida. So you want to know what those evacuation routes are, should you
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah, and also look up where all the shelters are as well, just in case you don't get a chance to evacuate and you know the storm's going to hit. At least try to find out where all the closest shelters are so you can be prepared for that too.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, I guess that does it for the summer.
The summer and hurricane prep. I know you mentioned bottled waters. We just stocked up last week. We were at Costco earlier this week and got some gallons. They had like a 6-pack of the gallons and a
Oh, nice.
thing of like 40 bottled water. So we got plenty of bottled water that we just stashed away just in case. I mean, that's one of the things that water service could be lost for a few days or even longer. It's possible,
Yeah.
not likely, but better just have that stuff and be prepared. Same for the canned food goods and other things that you mentioned.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Mo, another topic, if we're all done with our summer prep, I feel like we should
Yeah.
just mention we've had some people asking, what's going on with the real estate market? Where are we? Are we experiencing a shift in the Florida real estate market? So I thought we could kind of chat about that a bit. And if there's more
Sure.
interest, guys, we want to hear from you. If this is something you're interested in, let us know and we could maybe put a bigger episode together around it. But, on that note, Mo, what do you think? Are we seeing a shift in the market?
Obviously, with the interest rates that are going up, I wouldn't say it's a huge shift, but I would say it's a slight turn. You know what I mean? What I
Interesting.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I would say, I mean, yeah, people are still buying houses here, left, right, and the center. So, but I have noticed a lot of the builders are coming back around and saying, "Hey, we got inventory homes now. Hey,
I've seen that too. Yes.
we're gonna give you a $3,000 bonus if you come purchase a house with us. We're gonna do a rate lock for you." So their
I've
promotions are
seen
starting to come
builders.
out.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen builders offering a 12-month rate lock. I've seen builders actually offering to pay all closing costs again. We haven't seen that in a while. Those incentives had dropped down. Maybe even some of the builders that have really cut into the commissions they were offering real estate agents, they're starting to offer a little more commission,
Yeah,
or bonuses, like you said. That's
right.
something that there's been a lot of compression on over the last few years as demand was so high. They maybe felt like they didn't need us, and now they're starting to feel like they need us again.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think I don't know about a shift, but I think the way you put it, a slight turn, that's maybe a good way of looking at it. Things have slowed down a little bit to where it's just not quite as competitive, especially at the higher price points too. I would say,
Yeah. Yep.
with the higher interest rates, it's just naturally some of the buyers have been taken out, and even somebody maybe that was looking at a $700,000 house with the rising interest rates, now they can only afford 6.25, and depending on the area, that might be a very different house. So
Yeah.
they're maybe reconsidering or maybe shifting areas where they look or something like that. Long term, I don't think we'll see um, a drop in prices. I do not anticipate.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah. I
if
don't
we
see
see
that.
that, I mean, this shift conversation is not just a Florida thing; it's going on nationwide. Everybody is seeing changes with the rise in interest rates, but I think there are so many people moving to Florida that our demand
Yeah.
is a little bit different, and yeah, it's affected how many buyers are out there and how many can afford that $700,000 house. But
Right.
there are still a lot of people moving to Florida every day. A lot of people that want to buy houses. So I think things are going to still continue to be strong. Maybe we're not going to see the spike in prices we've seen for the last, especially 6 to 8 months. And
Yeah.
even, I mean, going back a few years, we've seen double-digit percent increases year over year. But maybe we won't see as much of an increase, but I don't anticipate a decline in pricing.
No, I don't see a decline in pricing, but I do see the people who wanted to get their bigger, the sellers that wanted to get the biggest bang for their buck, starting to come down to market value.
Right. Yeah, we are seeing some price reductions on homes. They're putting them out there. I think gone are those days where the seller can put the home on the market and just get whatever crazy price they want. They see the last home in the neighborhood sold for $40,000 more than the previous one, so they try to tack on another 40. That play doesn't work anymore.
No,
It's
exactly,
a
and that's gonna
little more realistic as far as the home values. Yeah.
exactly, and that's gonna hurt your appraisal if you think you're gonna get $40,000 more
More.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So, if anything, maybe it's more of a stabilization, which is honestly what we
exactly.
really need. We need prices to stabilize and stop just being crazy. And we need, you guys that are moving to be able to get an offer accepted rather than having to go multiple, offer situations every home you make an offer on and having to offer over asking price and waive appraisals and all of that. I think we're moving towards more of a normal market, which is, it's good for everyone, to be honest.
Exactly. It's good for your buyers. It's good for sellers. Everyone's going to be happy. Everyone's going to shake their hand at the end and move on their own way. I have also seen a slight tick in inventory as well. So inventory was, has been like a month long worth of inventory. Now we're seeing like 2 months, a month and a half to 2 months of inventory now in the market. So yeah, that's also showing a slight turn in the market where buyers were
Well,
just
and
snatching up homes left and right. Now we actually have some inventory out there.
yeah, well, and reminder, guys, what they call a balanced market would be 6 months of inventory. So we are definitely not there yet.
We're not there yet. It's going to take a little while till we get there, but we're not there yet.
Yeah,
But another
we are
thing,
still for the most part in a seller's market. It's just not quite as an insanely strong seller's market.
exactly. And another thing I've noticed though is rent prices are still not coming down. They're still
No.
up at the highest points, and they're still climbing.
And I think the rents are going to continue to climb, maybe at a faster rate than the home price growth at this stage. I think that is something we're going to continue to see. There's just not enough supply again with all the people moving in, and then even with mortgage rates climbing, less people can buy. So what are they going to do? They're going to rent.
Yeah, they're going to rent. And, sometimes you want to think about a couple of things when you are deciding to rent. If you're renting a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, and it's going to be close to $3,000, and you're like, okay, I have a little bit of money saved up. I might as well buy a house, put some equity into into purchasing a home. You're going to continue building that equity as well. So just think about those two things when you are coming to Florida. It's like, is it worth buying one or is it worth renting?
Well, yeah, and I mean another rent versus buy question is you go, okay, it's what 2,200 for this 2 bedroom home. Well, if I go buy a 3 bedroom house, it's 2,300, 2,400 a month. Well, okay, yeah, maybe it is a little bit more, but obviously you got more space there. But
Right.
also in 5 years, what is your mortgage payment going to be? It's still going to be that $2,400 a month. What is your rent going to be? It's going to be
Exactly.
3,000, 3,500. That rent is going to keep going up. But if you buy a home and lock in your 30-year long-term financing, there are some variables. Of course, taxes go up a little bit over time. Your insurance could
Right.
go up. But for the most part, you're locking in that principal and interest, and it's not going to change. You're going to have that low payment locked in. And in these inflationary times, I mean, that's what you want.
Exactly. And with interest rates being so volatile, granted they're going up now. 2 years, 3 years down the road, if they do climb down again, there's always a
You can
chance
always
to refinance.
refinance. Yep.
Exactly. And if you don't want to refinance and the interest rates are still high, and you didn't buy a house with a pool, you really wanted a pool. In 2 years, 3 years, you've already built a little bit of equity. Take some cash out of your house, put a pool. There's
There
different
you
ways
go.
to get around, and that you can do things to your home when
I
you
tell
have
you, Mo,
something of your own.
my neighbor is building a pool right now, and man, it sure looks good in that backyard. I'm thinking I might
It
have to
looks
get one.
enticing. It looks enticing, huh?
It does look enticing.
Has your clubhouse opened yet?
They finally broke ground.
No way. It's like my house.
Maybe at the end of the summer we'll be able to swim in our community pool. I'm hoping they get the playground in. My son will love to have a playground in the neighborhood, but right now
Yeah,
it's just dirt, and they just started moving the dirt, so we got a little ways.
little ways. Oh, speaking
Yep.
of dirt, I'll give you an update on my house.
Let's go. Well, hey, real quick before we do that, I mean, I think that's kind of our quick take on the shift in the Florida real estate market, what we've got going on. If you guys are interested in that topic and you want us to go into more detail and maybe pull some stats and stuff like that, just reach out, let us know. Here when we wrap up in a minute, Mo will let you know where you can get in touch with us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But I'm going to
So,
give you a quick
so
update on my
Mo,
home.
yeah, let's hear it. I'm interested to know what's going on.
So we got our trusses put in, which means all the rooms have been, cut out. Basically, all the wood
Yeah, it's
around
starting to
inside
look
the
like
house.
a house.
It's starting to look like a house. We got a roof come in. Obviously, we haven't had shingles or anything put up yet, but the roof is in. The insides of the house starting to come along as well. The second story is in, which is just the loft. But that was in a couple of cool things. So we're starting to see progress. I'm hoping by next week we should have, some plumbing stuff taken care of, some groundwork with the electric taken care of as well, so we can get to the next step. The way things are. Oh, speaking of, they're saying windows are back into market, so they don't have to wait for windows
Oh,
anymore. But
all
now
right.
AC ducts and AC units are now backed up. If it's
Always
not one
something.
thing, folks, it's always something. So we're still anticipating early fall to move in. So anywhere from late August to early October.
And that's going to
So
put you, Mo, at what, like an 18-month build time?
about a 18 to 19 month build
Whew.
time. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are a patient man. But it's good. It's good that you got things locked in when you did. You were able to lock
Yes.
in great pricing, I'm sure. And that is one of the things with buying new construction, you guys, is you lock in that price, at today's prices, but the way things have been going, they keep climbing. And then the builders, of course, raise their prices in the community too. So yeah, I know we've talked about
Absolutely.
that before, but well, very good. I'm glad things are moving along for you. Hopefully, by the end of this year, you will be recording from that new home office instead of from your apartment. I know you're itching to get out of the apartment.
We are. But now we want to hear from you guys. You can reach us at our Moving to Florida show hotline by dropping a voicemail or texting us at 407-900-5859, or drop us a DM on Facebook or Instagram at Moving to Florida Show. And for Twitter, our handle is at Moving to FL Show. If you'd like to connect with us, if you have any questions, or if you need a realtor here in Florida, you can reach us at movingtofloridashow@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to the show if you like our content, so that it would automatically download to your device and get you one step closer to moving to Florida.